everybody, welcome to today's episode of The Game of Content. Today we have a good buddy of mine, Josh Barracks. He's a Twitch streamer, a Warzone commentator, and becoming a fast-rising TikTok rock star. Josh, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Mecca?
So good. So happy to have you on today. You know, it's been an exciting month. There's been so much happening in the world, and especially on TikTok, on your side of things. Do you want to tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, what your content is about, and anything else you want to share before we get started?
Sure, yeah. My name is Josh, or Josh Barracks. I've been streaming for about 2.5 years now and making content the whole time from the great state of Georgia, born and raised. And
Georgia.
Georgia
But you don't have, I mean, you have a little bit of an accent, but you don't have the Savannah accent.
No, I do not. But it's crazy. I was actually, my mom is like, was adopted from France to Alabama and then married like a Southern, my dad, and then now my stepdad's from like New England. So I don't know what's going on with my accent. It's all over the place. When I get him out, I'm like, you fucking guy. And then then it's back to being Southern. It's really weird. But so yes, I stream and stuff, and then also content. We do be making that, and over at TikTok, we're doing some things. This is coming out in July, so who knows what'll happen by then.
Who knows what's gonna happen by the time July rolls around, right?
Yeah.
Like you could just become partnered on TikTok in a week.
Oh my God, who knows? It's crazy right now.
Dreams, right?
It's the goals, man. And then yeah, we do commentating as well for my own personal tournaments every month. For I Buy Power and WD Black, they host some Cold War tournaments, and then for Matcherino, I'm a partnered commentator and tournament organizer over there. And for the Fairchild Air Force Base in Washington, we do different things for them as well. So kind of all over the place with it, and just trying to get my name out there.
Congratulations on that. And that all happened within the past 6 months, did it not?
Yeah, it all happened in the last 6 months.
It sounded like everything just happened in like such a short amount of time. But what I'm seeing is you really love commentating. Like you have you kind of fell into it, but you're really digging it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I do Warzone custom lobbies on my Twitch stream. It's kind of like a thing that I'm becoming more and more known for, that like other streamers or content creators will come and they know that they can bring their community and that it's a non-toxic environment and that we'll all have fun with the content with the customs. So what I would do is, because I'm so bad at the game, I would just be dead all the time. And so I would just be looking at them. So I'm like, if I'm already dead, Mecca, why not?
Right.
Just talk about what's going on. And then eventually someone saw me doing it. They liked it. And then, yeah, I mean, shit happens fast, Mecca. Shit happens fast.
2 Augusts ago, I started right before Shadowkeep for Destiny 2 came out. That's usually when I mark when I started streaming. It's crazy. You've seen people that just are there and there and there, and then suddenly they blow up. They get the notoriety they deserve, all the hard work, all the hours, all the struggling and sacrifices earned overnight.
Yeah.
And it's just so rewarding to witness that. So congratulations to you. And this is just the beginning of bigger things coming for you, my friend.
Well, thank you.
So Josh, I ask all of my contributors what their definition of a content creator is. And the reason I ask that is because it is almost like a spectrum of a definition. We have marketing content creators that work for brands. We have people that are really focused on SEO and they're creating content, which again falls under marketing. And then you have the entertainers, which more you and I would fall under, people that are building their brand, building their presence. They just want to make an impact on the world. And I'm hearing so many different definitions from all of my subjects. And Josh, I'd love to hear what you have to say. So what is a content creator?
Well, that's a great question. And just like you said, with the different kind of people who fall into the space, I think that there are different answers for this. But just like you were asking what my specific definition of a content creator is, man, and it's so weird because on paper, right? Like if you just look at what content creating is obviously just taking your gameplay, taking your personality and adding it and to video format for people to enjoy. It could be video format, could be 2D, just however you want to portray yourself with content. But I feel like it gets so much deeper with that, especially nowadays, is that people really want consistency and they want to really get to know the person that's creating that content. So content creating, to me, when I think of that, I think community. Yeah, I mean, just community building, I guess, is the big part of it. I don't just look at the individual video formats or the individual like TikToks, Instagram videos, YouTube long form. I see it as one big whole, just one big, becoming a part of someone's day to day.
And if you look at it that way, you consider being a content creator kind of a privilege. You're being allowed into someone's personal space, their home, on their phone, on their computer, and you're just allowed to entertain them for 7 seconds, 30 seconds, 10 minutes on YouTube. And that's the world we live in now. I haven't asked anyone else this question, but I feel like you would have something to say about it. What do you think the past year with the pandemic has done for content creators and getting out there?
That's a big one.
It's a big one, right? Because so much happened.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those answers, are still being found out. I feel like now that we're attempting to come across to the other side of the pandemic, feels like we're finding out more and more, analytically, how many people just, started streaming, which is a massive number. It's over 1 million people created Twitch accounts. And
over the past year,
just since I think it was February 2019 to I think they ended the number in March of 20 or no it's February 2020 to March 2021. I saw a stat. It was over 1 million new Twitch users, and
wow.
And with ESPN coming into the mix when there was a certain Fall Guys event, there was just Twitch as a whole became much more of a household name, much like the UFC became a household name with a certain fight that happened back in the day. It went from big in their own community, so big from Twitch's community to more of a mainstream. Your grandma might even know who Ninja is, kind of thing. And
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I was giving a lecture to my alma mater a few weeks ago, and I was trying. I had to. You're gonna laugh. I had to explain what Vine was to them.
Oh no.
And I was it was TikTok before TikTok was TikTok.
Yeah.
But, everybody being home and mobile, but housebound, you had to reach for stimulation in another direction. So I definitely agree with your answer there. And I think we're still seeing the trends that are coming out of keeping everybody at home and the positive effects of that.
That's 100% right. I think everybody kind of knew, especially the more, maybe you'd been streaming already for 6 months, a year, 2 years. The veterans-esque content creators and streamers knew what the opportunity was that was in front of them. I think everybody was just hopefully a lot of people were gearing up and all right, let's do this, let's get it, and because you're right, everyone had more time on their hands. They couldn't go to the movies, they couldn't go out to eat dinner. There was just a lot less forms of distraction on the day-to-day. So what that opened for online environments was something that I don't know if we're ever going to see that again. When's the next time that the world's going to shut down like that? I don't think it had happened since the 20s or something.
When's the next pandemic? Yeah, and that was crazy. We did come full circle. And they do say history repeats itself, but this year definitely proved that. So we're going to move on to giving a bit of a discussion about the recent things that are happening in Josh Barracks' world. Josh, your first tournament was on March 19th of this past year. Can you tell me what that experience was like for you? Give me the lowdown. How was it going into that? How did it start? How did you get into it? Were you nervous and scared? Tell me all about the experience.
Yeah, definitely nervous. I do Warzone customs on my channel all the time, and a buddy of mine had this opportunity open with Fairchild Air Force Base in Washington. They offered me and him our first opportunity. Well, actually, no, he had commentated before. It was my first opportunity to do it professionally. And so, Mecca, I feel like me and you are kind of similar in this way, that we're kind of not professional, but perfectionists in a lot of ways.
Yes.
To the T. I can when I talk to someone, I know right away if they're like-minded in this way. And you're the kind of person, you'll lose some sleep over it. You'll go way above and beyond the tasks that were asked of you, just in case an issue comes up, so that you have a script ready for stuff that you don't even know if it's going to happen or not. And
there's nothing wrong with preparation. I think I would rather be over-prepared than under-prepared.
Well, it definitely it goes full circle, because a lot of the preparation. So I ended up doing a lot of preparation. Ended up being 7 or 8 paragraphs worth of different scenarios that could occur, that could pop up with different people.
Wow.
It was ridiculous, and I got a little bit made fun of for it by my buddy, but hey, it happens.
But that's your buddy. They're supposed to do that. That's part of their job.
That's right.
But I bet the people you were working for, this was kind of an audition, I would say.
Yeah, no, it's full circle as heck. So check it out. So we do the tournament. I'm like shaking the night before, and I'm because like this is the main stage. I knew there was gonna be like 70 something participants. It's gonna be their family. It's gonna be, there's officers, colonels that are watching this, and I have a military background in my family, so I do think very highly of the brave men and women who do serve for the United States, and honestly, just abroad, just serving in general, just takes so much courage. And I wanted to, their whole department is for unit relations. Like it's to keep them happy, to keep those kids happy, keep those men and women, happy and entertained while they're doing something that
it's such a physical, mental, full body toll.
Yeah, it is. And so that responsibility kind of weighed on me. Just going back to what you were saying about the privilege of content creating, I felt that privilege of what was ahead of me, and I think that weighed on me a little bit. And so I wanted it to be really good. So I'm nervous, we're shaking, and then the camera rolls 3, 2, 1, and everything just washes away. I think that a lot of streamers, and I know a lot of like different comedians feel this way too. It's like you feel sick to your stomach sometimes if you have something big come up, but it's that it's when the spotlights are on you. That's when I come alive, and I
something happens, right? Like it's literally like a switch, and it's just like I definitely relate to this, because whenever I'm about to start streaming, I'm like anxious. I'm really like fearful. It's not really that I think I'm bad at it. It's the unpredictableness of it. But it's when you're in the spotlight. There's I can't explain it, but it's exactly what you just said. Something washes over you and you're on. Like you're ready to go. You can do it. You can improvise. It's like it's do or die, and everything inside you just makes it happen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's a great feeling. It's exciting. And when you're in it, it's not always the greatest, because you're like perfection, say it right. And then I'll go so far as to like criticize, on the inside I'll be like, was that smile too smiley? I'll go deep in it, Mecca.
Was that too smiley?
Right. If it's like official, right? Like if I'm streaming day to day, I'm very lackadaisical. I love that about it. I love that I can just like do me. But like if someone's paying me to do something, if I'm contracted to do something, if I'm if I have set responsibilities for somebody other than myself, I always, that's that sense of responsibility kind of kicks in. And it was great. We had a great time, and that preparation ended up coming in handy, because we had 30 minutes of downtime between the last game and announcing the winners. They had a score snafu. Wow. So guess who busted out the 7 paragraphs, Mecca? Me.
You did.
That's right. We were ready, and it was great. And we talked about what your favorite fast food was, and we talked about what your upcoming title of your game favorite one is.
Interviewing the players, and you were like, oh my God, we have dead air, and every broadcaster's nightmare is dead air, and you're like, what do I do? So I think that just shows the professionalism that you have, and the integrity you have with your craft, is that you were prepared, you knew what you had to do, and you kept the audience entertained and engaged, and that makes a good creator.
Well, thank you. I like to think that those qualities in somebody that a lot of people say like, oh, well, streaming is a hobby, content creating, you should think of it as a hobby. And that's fine if you do. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, I think that that's probably safer for your mental to look at it like that. But if you want to take it to a next level, I think, unless you're just a pro, like a 1%er that could just go on and drop 20 kills a game in whatever game you're playing, or just easily, you do have to go above and beyond in today's day and age of content creating and streaming. And you have to put yourself out there, be vulnerable, and want to succeed, and go the extra mile and all of that. And that paid off immediately, because after the tournament, I got further correspondence with him somewhere down the line. He was like, look, man, you were everything that we wanted in the thing. Your hype, your level, your excitement, and your, the ability to improvise on the spot. We can't imagine that we would need anything more than that. So here's a contract for the remainder of 2021, and for 3 more tournaments, and one of which I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but one of which I might be flown out to do an in-person LAN tournament in Washington. And
how cool!
yeah,
oh
like
my God.
per diem and stuff. Like I've never done that, so I don't know what that looks like.
I once paid my rent with my per diem. In Toronto, I was like, I have no money.
Oh my gosh! Hey,
so here's my per diem.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, like I think what's interesting is I think I grabbed you at the right time because I feel like you're about to rise up a hill that you're gonna be booked. You're gonna be busy, probably by the end of the summer. And I'm just happy we were able to squeeze this in and just authentically talk about vulnerabilities and things that affect us. So I think that this is really, really just, I don't know. I'm just so excited for you. Like I can't even like speak and form sentences.
Dude, thank you so much. And listen to this before you go on too, is that I want to say that I did this because I love what you're doing and I love who you are as a person. And I know that we haven't gotten really these one-on-one talks, but I think that in the space, like in gaming and stuff like that, I like to think I'm a pretty good judge of character. And just the time I have spent in your stream with you, like, and the relationships that you've made and the way that I've seen that you've handled stuff, I wanted to be a part of this. Like I wanted to have this conversation with you because you seem like somebody who can have true, meaningful conversations, and I love what you're doing. So I'm happy to be here.
I'm so uncomfortable with compliments. So
I know you are. I know you are. We're doing it anyway.
I'm so glad you can't see my camera right now because I was like making the don't cry face where you're like squinching your face. Thank you for that. I'm just, okay.
I mean it.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's I think what's really interesting about your career and your trajectory, words are hard, trajectory.
They are.
Is that you didn't, I doubt that 2 years ago you knew that you would land as a commentator right now. And I want to share with my viewers what do you feel makes a successful commentator? And the reason I ask that is because there's people that have that raw talent, that great vocal range, that charisma that you need to be a commentator. What is one skill that you think someone needs to have to work on to become successful?
Well, besides just the inherent, the given, which is like a decent mic, right? Some people I see like YouTube videos, people trying to do commentating with like a Steel Series.
Don't use your Xbox headset.
Don't use your Xbox head. Don't use your Steel Series. I mean, the Steel Series mic is okay, but like you do need a USB. You need an XLR. Like you need something that can increase your vocal quality. But way more than that.
Why is that important? Because I want to just do like a really short sentence, but why is audio quality so important when you're trying to make a good impression?
It's subconscious. I think people subconsciously, they are more inclined to continue long term to listen to somebody if it's sounding good to the ears, right? There's no peaking, there's no it doesn't start getting all staticky. You can really hear the ups and downs, almost like you're in the same room as that commentator.
It's almost intimate. Like it's almost like you're having that connection with them. And in a world where we're so reliant on our screens, that quality of connection through that main sense, which is hearing, I think is so important. So that's an excellent description of it.
Yeah. And so that besides that, like basic one, just the willingness to adapt and learn. I think in life, a lot of people will put a lot of work in prior to like a project or prior to a job or prior to, like, say you just started streaming and you get all your stuff and you talk so much about how you want to do it. And then after a couple weeks, a couple months, or like a year, you are no longer putting in the same effort that you were originally. That is like what how do I say it? What I'm saying is to not do that. Just continue.
Not become complacent?
Yeah, there you go. Don't become complacent. I know I'm not the like bee's knees. I'm not, I maybe I could do an upper echelon tournament, but I look at some of these casters who do the Valor, like for instance, the Valorant Masters. I'm blown away because until you do it, I didn't realize how much skill and how much practice these gentlemen and women have, because you don't have to scream at the top of your lungs when something exciting happens, which is something that I did originally. There are other ways to convey a sense of urgency and suspense inside of somebody, and sometimes just talking like this and then building up and then building up and then he turns the corner and stuff like that. You can actually feel that if it's done right, and it's magical. So just keeping the willingness to learn, to not be complacent, and to just stay a student, not only in commentating but in streaming, and then anything in your life. You never think that you're the shit and then nobody can touch you, because there's always someone who can.
Someone, there's always someone that can get you. What I think was really important about what you just said was you're telling a story with your voice. You're not just saying sentences after sentence. You're not reading a monologue. You have to improvise, and you have to tell the story visually for what's happening on screen. And if you look at commentating and the history of commentating, this goes back to radio, when radio was the only form of broadcasting available to us. And now we have an endless amount of platforms we can absorb information from. And the best commentators in the world are probably people that tell the story without visuals, and you feel like you're there. You listen to a hockey game on a radio station and you know what is happening because the commentary and the color commentary are so in sync with what's happening.
Color commentating is, and there's just different levels to it, and deciding kind of like who you want to be in your role. If you want to be more analytical, if you do want to bring a little bit more excitement and emotion into it, pairing well with other commentators is another way that you can kind of like bring that to the next level. But yeah, 100%. Somebody I love listening to, who I think do it on two different spectrums, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, is just a wonderful descriptor. Just the way he uses, I'm drawing a blank on what the word is. The way he uses
adjective.
It's like it's the thing where you keep like very descriptive. I don't know.
Verb, adjective.
Words.
No.
He's so good with the words.
He's so good with the Anglo-Saxon language.
Yeah, in the 19th century. So good with that. And I could listen to him talk all day, and he could take the information that's in his brain and his big old brain, and how his brain is bigger than mine, and then the way he describes it, it flows like a story, and I can follow it.
He simplifies it. He simplifies it so, and I don't know his proper title, but astrophysicist, I think. Like, he's silly smart.
That's it.
He's an astrophysicist. Yeah. And so, but I think he knows the value of education, and he understands that to educate and teach and bring up another generation, you have to simplify some, like quantum mechanics. You have to simplify that so that it makes sense to someone that's like 5 years old. And it just goes to show that anyone can learn anything.
No, I think you can. I think anybody can learn anything. I think that the only things that kind of shackle us down are our own doubts and insecurities, which are valid. But breaking free.
Sometimes those are very loud.
They're loud and they're heavy. And sometimes they're very hard to break, and I have mine. I'm sure you have yours. A lot of people have them. I think, and this kind of goes really deep into my outlook on things, but I think that's bigger than my goals with content creating and streaming, is that this has been just such like a self-improvement journey for me, and I just wasn't the best person prior to
when you started.
I've there was reasons that I started streaming and content creating and just getting away from certain environments, and I wanted to be better, and I think I've been able to make strides, and one day at a time, and I have a long way to go, but that's something really unique that you get with creating communities online and becoming a streamer, becoming a creator, is that you don't have a choice but to be vulnerable. If you're just talking into a microphone and people can just stare at you, and they know when something's wrong, they're opening up to you. And at first it felt like it felt like I maybe was like putting up walls and not allowing certain things to come in. Like I wasn't allowing certain feelings to be had or wouldn't open up. And after a while, they just came crashing down, and it has done just wonders for me on a day to day with just life and my relationships with my family and my girlfriend Brittany. Shout out to Brittany, I love you. And it's I'm just at a place that I only saw like in movies and stuff, and I'm actually happy for the first time in my 29 years. Like genuine, like
oh, we're the
genuine
same age.
Yay! Let's get older. Can't wait.
30 in December.
30 in November. I'm older than
Oh
you.
my God,
Let's.
Sagittarius buddies.
I am a Scorpio.
Yo, okay, we're right on the cusp of each other. I want to make a note that I wasn't saying anything while you were speaking because it was like you were reading from my diary.
Oh.
Literally, I agree wholeheartedly with everything you just said. I agree with the person I was when I started content creating was not someone that I like to remember. It's not that I was a bad person. It was someone very lost, And if you think about where we both were in our late 20s, there's a reason that shows like New Girl are so successful because that's that demographic where you're out of college, you have a job or two, you think you know what you're doing. Maybe you're in a long-term relationship and suddenly your first security blanket is pulled out from under you. And something changes. Maybe it's your identity that you realize, something that was in you that you weren't aware of. Maybe the relationship you were in for so long that defined you is gone now, or maybe you lost someone to something that you didn't think you would. It was the loss of innocence, right? We go through another loss of innocence in our late 20s, and I completely agree with what you said, where content creation has brought me out of myself. It's brought me out of a dark place that I was in. It's made me a better person. It's made me more compassionate. And the coolest part, and I said this to my parents, I have friends all across the world. And I was like, Mom, you know what? Like, I would love to go to England, but I can go to England any time of day because 3 of my best friends live in England. And I have learned more about myself by learning about others than I could have if I was just working a part-time job. And that was the only exposure to the world and other cultures that I had.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's wild. I mean, I think on some level, when you see somebody or you meet somebody, you listen to them talk or you talk to them. I kind of knew that there was something like very similar about the way that I am and then you. Like, I don't know what it was, but I was like, I kind of saw myself in you when, like, I would watch your stream or in your personality, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, she's like me, and I would imagine if we really busted out,
we sat across from a bar with each other and chat. Like, I don't drink anymore, but say that we had a beer, and and we would probably talk for it. That's why I'm a little bit. I mean, COVID made everyone's money situation fucked, but when TwitchCon is back next year, cross my fingers. It's gonna be a week of reunions for people, and I would just love to sit down with you and just shoot the shit and talk about life, because I feel like we have that soul connection and we are like thousands of kilometers away from each other.
The magical thing about the internet is that you do run into people like that. I feel the same way about Bona, me and I love him, and I would kill for him. My girlfriend is like so worried about it. He's like, are you becoming, and like, are you going to leave me behind? And I'm like, maybe. I love him. And I want to live in his beard. And she's like, well, can I come? I'm like, no, you can't.
No, there's only room for one person. And you and Dizzy have to share that.
Yeah. Well, I get the left side. He gets the right. We've made our peace with it. And
it's just so fascinating watching the 3 of you have relationships with each other.
It's great. I love it. But I mean, yeah, I agree though. I think that would be a good little bar visit, and it's just a great thing, man. I'm so thankful for it. I'm so thankful for Twitch and
it sounds like you're just like so full of awe and gratitude for the place you are in life.
What a good word. I actually I said we were on vacation. I had just got back from Florida
Hmm.
for a week. The first like vacation I had in like over a year, which is like, oh, over a year. Wow, I haven't vacation in like 20 years.
No, but you're a content creator. Like you can have a
Right.
vacation for 5 hours if you want. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
It was really, really nice. And I think by like the halfway point of that trip, I think I was like we were on the like sitting on a pier, like 10 o'clock at night, slightly tipsy. And
Hmm.
I'm just like staring out into the water. And of course I had Brittany there with me. And we just started talking about life. And that word kept coming up, which was like grateful. And
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't really think I knew how to be grateful before. Like I said it a lot. I said the words thank you a lot to people. I bartended for 4 years prior to streaming. So thank
Hmm.
you and you're welcome were very well versed into my vocabulary.
That was part of a script, but that wasn't part of your intentions.
I think somewhere along the line, like you do as a human, I became a bit jaded with my lot in life.
Late 20s jaded.
20s jaded, right? A lot of John Mayer, and just feelings. Okay, so I thought
Gravity.
gravity, and I was like just crying with my moonshine, but
Yep.
um,
As you do.
like you do, and
Georgia.
I don't know. It's weird. Like I knew that I was like, okay, this person didn't have to tip me this, or this person doesn't have to love me, but they do, and so that's good. But I don't know what happened, and I still don't truly have like the words for it, but I can feel it now. I can feel when someone says that they love me, be it somebody in my community or my family or whatever. I can actually feel things, and that's that hasn't always been the case. And so that is just so weird that I wasn't able to put it into words before, and I found that out there in Anna Maria Island, Florida, where I want to move and never come back. But Anna Maria Island, yeah, it's great. So I don't know what happened, but this whole journey, everything that's been happening is completely changed or wired something inside of me that I can actually. It's not a me show. I'm not I don't need to be the main character. I don't need to be the protagonist. I'm just happy sharing this life with others. I'm happy sharing it with people who just don't wish ill on me, and they're just here with me, and they love me, and I love them, and it's just a much better way to go through life. And I'm grateful that I came out the other side of where I was at.
It really sounds like you've hit a point of self-love where you can hear other people's words of affirmation to you and you believe them.
Yeah. And I'm, if you know anything about not believing, it's not a good place to be when you just hear it and you can't fathom as to why somebody would feel that way about you.
It's confusing, right? You're just like, what? You're just like, are you
lying.
on drugs? Like, that's not true.
Yeah. Are you high? There's no way. and
smoking the electric lettuce.
Yeah, the electric lettuce. My God. Never heard that one before.
Have you heard that?
No, I've never heard the electric lettuce.
Maybe it's a Canada thing.
Yeah, maybe. Are you from Canada?
Yeah.
You know what they call Canada in my community?
Where?
Disclaimer: I feel like half my hardcore community is from Canada. They call it America's hat. How messed up is that? Canada sounds beautiful.
Canada is America's hat and America's little sister, and the jokes are like, I would always watch South Park for the Canada jokes because they're so funny. They're so stupid.
Yeah, they are.
About prep for stream for you, and I want to talk about 3 things that you've made a priority while fostering your community. And the reason that I want to ask that question is because I was discussing it a little bit yesterday with one of my subjects, and we were talking about So learning curves you encounter when building a Discord and building a community, and when you realize like, oh shit, I need rules and I need to uphold these rules and I need to ban people that have been in my community for a while, and I'm like, shit, a lot of adulting, So let's talk prep for Twitch stream for you. What does that mean, and how do you prepare for and you don't stream 5 days a week. Here's like what, 2 or 3 times a week?
4 times a week.
Okay. Well, I was very off. So let's talk prep first, and then we'll go into your priorities when fostering your community.
It's actually a lot, and it always has been. I don't know.
How many hours are we talking?
Probably, I need at least 2.5.
Mm-hmm. Day of or day before?
Just like right before. I need at least 2.5. So
same. Yeah.
I need about 30 minutes to shower and get out and all that. And I need about 20 minutes for my hair and shaving. And then I like to not have to be rushed to eat and to stretch. I am a stretch.
Gotta eat, gotta stretch. Those blood sugars and the healthy body gets you in that good headspace. So I love that you do that.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is just I think a lot of people, I think it's changing now with the pandemic and with more and more people turning to streaming, but I would imagine that still there's a pretty good portion of people who stream that are younger, so they don't they don't need to stretch, or at least they don't feel like they need to stretch, and they don't need
the shower.
Exactly. Who needs that? And who needs to eat decent food and drink water?
Reese Puffs does not constitute breakfast.
Yeah, correct. But the longer you do this, the more you start analyzing post stream. You're like, oh, today sucked. Why did today suck? Oh, I didn't eat. Oh, I didn't drink water. Oh, I didn't stretch. My back hurt. Well, my back hurt, so I couldn't be happy. I couldn't put on a show. The stream sucked. So
if you're running late, and would you sacrifice any of those things at this point, or do you know how important they are and you would rather be late to stream?
I'll be late.
Yeah.
I'll be late because being on time and having that in the back of my head, or being miserable, it's a no-go for me. Now, I might half-ass it. If I have to stretch, it might go from a 5-minute stretch to a 20-second one, just to get a couple cracks in. But I will not sacrifice my food. I'm not going to sacrifice showering and getting ready. Those all, I need those to feel like me. And I need those to feel comfortable on camera. And that's not to say that I haven't done it before, because I have, but I did not enjoy it when I was streaming in that condition.
Do you know of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
That's the psychology thing that's love and dot. And it's it goes for, is that the thing where it's the most important stuff and then the least important stuff, or something like that?
Well, it's it starts at the bottom as basic needs. So it's food, shelter, clothing, water, everything. The next one is, I think, I can't remember if the next one is socioeconomic or it's financial. I think financial is the one after that. But it's it's social, it's basic needs, social needs, other needs, and then the last pyramid is introspection, I think, or it's self-fulfillment, where you have all of these things met, and then you can achieve your epitome of greatness when all of these needs are met. And so it is a psychology thing, but it's human. It's really helped me to know this. And what's funny is that you're listing off the bottom of the basic needs, where you're making sure you're feeding yourself, you're taking care of how you look, so you're taking mammals. Oh yeah, so this, I'm a little bit of a psychology nerd, but mammals, every single mammal, if they don't maintain basic hygiene, so it makes sure that they're looking presentable, that's when they are very, very depressed, because all depression is across all animals, right? And
I didn't know that.
Yep. So it is. It's just measured in different ways across species. And so if they're not grooming themselves, then that is a sign that their health is declining.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Now you learned something new today.
Yeah. And if I think back to some of my lowest of the lows, all of those things.
You weren't taking care of yourself, were you?
Happier I am, the more often I wow. That's crazy.
I'll send you the link to the pyramid too, and I think that shit's just so fascinating. So I love that you listed that because that's such an important detail. I think a lot of people might take for granted. But like, oh, I don't need to shower today, or oh, I just had a granola bar. I can do a 7-hour stream, and it's like, no, you need to take care of yourself if you want to be the best you can. Which streaming you really should be. You need to take care of yourself.
So true. I couldn't agree more with that, and I wish I could like. It took. I didn't like get this stuff immediately. A lot of this stuff was just like I threw myself into streaming and then just kind of figured it out along the way. And I think the longer you stream, the more you foster a community. And I know you know this is that you get more and more people in your community that are just starting. And man, I just wish I could like imprint just the stuff I wish that I want them to know right away.
Right.
And
tell me the 3 things that you wish that you know now, looking back from when you started about 2 years ago to now. What are the top 3 most important things while fostering a community? And this can be things that are uncomfortable, things that you've had to ban somebody, you've had that's been around for a while and it was really tough decision, or it was implementing rules or adding really cool emotes. Just anything you think is super important to form that connection.
So other than taking care of yourself off of camera, I'm not going to include this in 1, 2, and 3, but this is because I just spoke on this. But like taking care of your life off camera is so huge, and it's like it should be 1 through 10 of like.
And you mean IRL life?
Yeah.
Right. Like once the camera's gone, the games are shut off. That's the life you're talking about.
Like basic health, physical health. Like the most you can do to be in the least amount of pain, right? So like stretching. Maybe do some workouts, go outside and go see nature once in a while, like maybe a couple times a month or whatever. And get your hair cut, like do the thing if you like that. Do the things that will make you feel like your best self, because the better you feel, the better you stream. The better you feel, the better content you make, the better you, well, I guess that's debatable, but in my experience, all of these ring true. So this is something that I try to that's not the right word, whatever, impart on my embark is like on a mission. Impart on my community is that the better you are in your place, like the better all of those things will be, because like someone's following you. Think about that responsibility. They're following what you're doing. You need to set well, you don't need to, but you should be setting an example.
You should respect that example you're setting.
Exactly. and be the thing that people strive to be, because I was in a dark place before streaming, and I found my way out through other streamers and through my community, and now it's my turn to give back to that. It's my turn to help people out and to get them to this place, because I just feel like everyone deserves to feel
what you feel,
what like I feel, and because it's not all me. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So it's my turn. So here's the 3 things that I tell on just a surface level anybody who is starting out streaming. The number 1 thing I swear by this, and it's to set a schedule.
Why is the schedule so important for yourself and for others?
The schedule is, just like you said, important for yourself and important for your viewers. Let's talk about yourself first. The setting a schedule for yourself keeps you accountable. It keeps you accountable for your time on a daily basis, or however often you need to, be streaming or content creating. You need to have goals, and even if it's short term, like week by week or day by day, having something in place with structure is only going to breed consistency. The more consistent you are personally, the faster you'll grow. And then here's the big one, is for setting a schedule for them, is like, when did Game of Thrones air? Do you remember what day it aired?
I just finished Game of Thrones.
Oh.
No, I don't, because I tried watching it when it first came out. I was a fragile little angel baby when I was like 19, I think, when it started. So I think like around 09, 10. Because I graduated high school in 09.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
So it aired Sunday at 10 p.m. I will never forget it, because it was like, it will always be my favorite show of all time.
Yep.
you need to think of your stream, or people need to look at their stream like a show, because you are. That's what you are.
It is a show. Yeah.
It is a show. And if people don't know when your show starts, not only is that a negative for you, but then they're not happy either, because they missed the beginning of their favorite show. So respect other people's times, set a schedule, stick to it as much as possible. If you're late, that's where other socials come in, and this is what part number 2 is, which is to create and make content on other social media platforms. This one has got to be driven home 1,000 times over because even though Mecca, we probably have heard this since we started and have heard it almost every month since we started, and you'll hear it from every streamer that you ask. But there's got to maybe one person that's listening to this that doesn't know how important this is, so we're gonna talk about it really quick. Twitch has very little discoverability. There's really no good way for anybody to organically follow you other than just luck. Unless you're at the very tippity top of your game category, which you won't be if you're just now starting.
Yep.
So you need to find ways to bring outside audiences into your stream. How do you do that? You grow followings on other platforms. So this is how I use mine to drive people in, which is I use Discord and Twitter primarily for existing followers to keep them updated. I use Discord and Twitter for stream updates. So if I'm late, hey, Josh, it took Josh 20 minutes to brush his teeth today. Okay, so we're going to be running a little late. Here's the tweet. Here's the Discord. Like, they know what's up, so they know, okay, I'm 20 minutes late. We got a little delay on our favorite show.
How many members do you have in your Discord?
We're about to hit 500, I think.
Congratulations. Oh my God.
Thank
So you really do need those updates to keep that community engaged and say, hey, you're here to hang out. Just so you know, I'm running 20 minutes late because I brushed my teeth for a decade.
Yes, for a whole decade. So
I want to segue into something that you touched on just recently, and you mentioned Twitter and you mentioned Discord, and you've generated a lot of viewers on Twitch from another platform, and I would love to give you the reins for this conversation and how important this is to talk about other platforms. Let's talk about your Warzone clips.
Yes. Yeah. So that's great. Yeah, great segue. So Twitter, and Discord for like current community, letting them know what's going on with your stream, so that they know when to go into your stream when you start. And then so for TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, those are the ones that I use to generate brand new audiences and funnel them into the stream, right? Because that's everyone's goal.
It's like a marketing funnel. If anyone knows basic marketing, there's the funnel.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of these clips and what's been happening. So this is primarily on TikTok where we're really catching fire right now. Now, if like we said at the beginning, like when the time you guys see this, we don't, I have no idea what will have happened, or if this was just all sheer luck and this is all I'll get. And if that's the case,
your blip. That's as far as you're gonna go on TikTok, Jet.
That's it. Hard stop. Right. This is my blip. But from the time that this was recorded, 6 days ago, I uploaded a video that started a series called How to Use, and then I would go through different weapons in Call of Duty Warzone. Different weapons in the video include an M13, a Street Sweeper, Swiss K31. The premise of the video is kind of just a meme. Like, if I don't like the gun, or if the community in large doesn't like the gun, or if it's a controversial gun that maybe she's overpowered or something. In Destiny, you could think Jotun at its prime.
Jotun!
Right? So how do you...
That's the first thing that came to mind.
Exactly. So this is what it would be like for Destiny. How to use the Jotun. Okay, step 1, you got an ADS. And then step 2, this is a little explicit. Okay, I'm gonna go drop the Jotun and then pick up something else because you shouldn't be using that piece of shit gun. That's the kind of videos that I've been making. Okay?
They're memes.
They're all memes.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and so like for instance on my Gallo, this is my personally favorite one because I got my favorite thing about this series is that it's really allowed me to be who I am and who my stream is. I think a lot of times people struggle to make the content that reflects what their stream is like. And finally, I have found it in this series. So for the Gallo shotgun, it's generally speaking not an overpowered weapon, but it's still a shotgun. And people that use shotguns in Warzone are kind of hated on because it's like, hey, you can't aim an SMG? Get out of here, right? So what I did is I took the premise of like people not liking shotguns, and I was like, step one, it's actually not that hard to use a Gallo. But the difficult part of using a Gallo is that while you're using a Gallo, you got your friend's glizzy in your face, and then I have a pool noodle. Where's my pool noodle?
Your pool noodle, I remember that from your stream.
Yeah, so I have a pool noodle and then I like poke myself in the face, and then and then I get one of those in there, and then at the end I'm like, this should be noted that this is my favorite gun, and then I hit him with a sus face, and I got the pool noodle, and it's like all about who I am. So this series has really done something for me. I'm not really taking clips from my stream or anything. I'm just creating content that I like, that I think is funny. I'm kind of creating the situations myself, or I'm just going into matches, getting good kills with a weapon, and then I meme on it. And this has generated a lot of new traffic for my channel. And this is the whole thing that we're talking about in terms of like what content creation can do, because there is an enormous audience out there, millions and millions of people that would probably love your stream. The only reason you don't have them in your stream is because they don't know you exist yet.
And they can't find you.
They can't find you. There's no discoverability. So how do you get past it? You use these platforms to generate views. And a lot of you probably are thinking, well, that's obvious, but spell it out for you. I mean, that's really, in this day and age, unless you guys are just waiting for lightning to strike. This is the only way that you can take matters into your own hands, and like maybe one day Nick Merckx will raid me. Yeah, maybe, but like that. This is a way you can take back the control of.
Especially if you're someone that thrives with being in control. I have such a hard time leaving things up to the universe. I like to really feel like I'm in the driver's seat, and putting my content on other platforms has given me that steering wheel that I didn't know I needed.
Yeah. And so just taking these little 20-second meme clips, we've generated over 500,000 new views in less than a week.
Holy shit, 500,000 in less than a week.
4,000 on the first, 109,000 on the second, 115,000 on the third, 187 on the fourth, and the fifth was 107, and then this one is 801 right now. We just posted this one. Over 500,000 people. I go live.
When we started this interview, it was at 22.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
It's going crazy. And
that is craziness.
Yeah, and it can happen to anybody. I mean, if it can happen, if and like we said, by the time this comes out, my TikTok might just be pedaling along, and that's fine, because I'm gonna take this leverage and this traction that I have now. I'm gonna go live on TikTok, put my phone right next to my monitor, and then the description of the live on TikTok is gonna be, "Hey, I'm live on Twitch," and that's gonna funnel people into my thing. That's what streaming and content creating is all about: is getting those opportunities and taking the advantage of them. I think somebody once said, "Success is preparation meets opportunity." Okay, so prepare yourself for when growth happens, and you'll be ready for that opportunity. Get your Discord and your Twitter ready to go. Get your Instagram, your YouTube, and your TikTok, the bios, everything ready. Mecca, I think you're doing that right now. You took a step back and you go, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? What's the content that I want to make? You're preparing yourself. And that's so important, I think.
Thank you. I think that that is super underestimated, is having faith in yourself. And you and I've touched on this quite a lot in this interview, but having faith in the fact that it's just a numbers game. It really is. And you don't have to be a mathematician to understand that consistency will equalize to success. And if you're not doing anything, if all that you're doing is just pressing go live, the probability, break it down into math, is quite low to be successful. As you said, it's not totally impossible.
Not.
But if you have no understanding of the algorithm on Twitch, which is zero, and you aren't posting anything anywhere, and you're not engaging with anyone on Twitter, how are people supposed to find you? And what I think the most important thing, what I love about what you said, I'm going to sum it up into a sentence, is the reason you've been taking off isn't that you've been posting PvP clips of your amazing sick plays, goated plays on TikTok. You have taken a piece of your personality and said, hey, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to show a piece of myself to the world. If they don't like it, that's fine. I'll just make another TikTok. But luckily enough, because you were so prepared and you took that leap of faith in yourself, you have now taken off into the high digits of TikTok views. And that is a commodity that trades itself into the economy of Twitch.
Yeah, I could have said it better myself, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I mean, for what it's worth, I've been doing this full time for 2 years. So, a lot of people might say, "What took you so long to figure it out?" But, admittedly, and I think a lot of people can relate out there that it doesn't feel like there's enough time in the day to allocate your time wisely to the right things. Especially when you're just trying to stream all the time. And I may have gone full time a little early, and I needed to be live to maintain what little, I had to make some income, pay certain things. And that really, kind of handcuffs what I was capable and able to do with content creation. So,
oh my God, we are the same person.
Yeah. Is that you too?
It's a bit of a burden when you're relying on content creation to generate a roof over your head.
Yeah. Not the easiest thing to do, but a leap that a lot of people crazy enough have done. So I know it sounds like you were right there with me, but
oh yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it takes time, it takes time to find yourself in content. The way content that you want to make, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't you see a lot of people who are like, well, I'm only at 1 viewer. Josh, what should I do? It's a time game, okay? And this doesn't work with everybody. There is definitely an element of luck, and it might take others longer and shorter time to figure it out than others. But take every day as an opportunity to grow. You shouldn't just be streaming live all the time. You should be making content to drive those viewers into their stream. And then the last thing really is just what we're doing now, Mecca, which is just collaborating with your friends, networking.
Yeah.
And, I'm at 1 viewer. Well, make some friends, rate each other. And this is a big thing too. I always try to stress with my community. Don't do the follow for follow thing.
No, never.
It's not a good thing. There's an argument to be had that like, well, I want a sub button. I'm going to follow to 50 and then I'm going to stop. Okay, that's fine. If you want to do that, I don't care because that's
more power to you as long as you know it's going to end. Like that's
just not forever because there's no point. What's the point? No one stays because you have more followers than not. Like there's just no point to it. Okay, so if you're watching this, you're a new creator, you're thinking I'll follow to 1,000. No point in doing that. It's a waste of time. Take that time that you're spending for follow and make genuine relationships.
And even the people that have I just want everyone out there to know that I actually have social anxiety, and building friendships online is a lot easier for me than building friendships IRL, just because it takes that shield down. It makes it easier for me to connect with someone and be vulnerable. Text, like a tweet, and replying to someone's tweet, that is the quickest way probably to be present and to connect with others, is replying to tweets, commenting on Instagrams, and commenting on TikToks, because you're just there. And then that might one day eventually grow into a friendship, and then sooner or later you'll be at 1,000 Twitch followers that are actually pretty cool people.
Yeah, 1,000 that are really cool people. I would much rather have 500 active followers than 10,000 non-active. I think that goes for most people. Doesn't matter how many followers or whatever that you have. It's the genuine connections and relationships that you make. And again, just like with content creating and figuring that out, it takes time. It takes because you can't just become best friends overnight. You find people that you can relate to and vibe with that are, and if you're just starting out, or if you're like a medium size, like, you know, like we are, or even on the smaller like we are, you know, find people that can relate to that are similar size. But most importantly, about than it has anything to do with the size of the community, is that you like that person. You look forward to communicating with them. You look forward to DMing with them. And that stuff is just, you just can't put a price on that.
You can't find that anywhere else. I mean, like, my partner and I talk at length. We've probably talked for hours on end about people that he's made friends with and I've made friends with, and we're just like, wow, like, how lucky are we? And it's, you know, because of destiny that we found this community, but really it was because we just had a love for something that we were like, there's got to be other people out there like this.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what I think is also really important is content creation is such a new field. And I said during the lecture I was giving, I said, like, we are the Wild West of the e-commerce industry, basically.
I love that you say it like that. That's so good.
It is, right? But it is the Wild West because there's no rules. There's no one size fits all. You literally have to figure out your own way because you are your own brand.
Yeah.
And you can make as much money as you want.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a bit of a loaded comment, because if you're still struggle busting your way through learning the ropes of content creation, that's totally okay, because so am I and so is Josh. But the coolest thing is that it's a steep mountain to climb, but then once you're there, that's the six-figure income, that's the sponsorships, that's the agencies and the management. But it does take a lot of time to get up there because it is so oversaturated of cowboys wanting to take over the Wild West with you.
Yeah, it sure is. The Wild West thing, man. And my brother DM Dre, who's a moderator for me.
Yeah, his name sounds very familiar. So now I have a name to the name.
Yeah, GM Dre is all over the place. He's a big fan of the Fundament, and big shout out to the Fundament, by the way.
Big shout out to the Fundament.
Guys,
we did a big episode on that yesterday.
Yeah, because I know when you mention like finding people that are like you guys that are really enjoying the game, but really just want to thrive and vibe the way you guys do, and the Fundament is that. And I think it's so cool. I've been telling Bonus since the day he found it. I was like, this thing is special. You guys got something really special going on that I don't see. I haven't seen that in my COD scene. I haven't seen a group like that. So I think that's super cool that you guys are doing that. Big shout out to you guys.
You know what's very cool though is that we all have risen up at the same time. So while I'm not an admin, I'm I'm in the group. Because we've all been in the circle together for about 2 years now. I met one of the main admins on Instagram 2 years ago, and through her we all connected, and now we're in this Destiny 2 clan, which has become a content creator / social space for anybody that wants to grow and make new friends. I will pass that message on to everybody. I'm sure that they would love to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's wonderful. But you mentioned that it was the Wild West, and I have this vision of what I think Twitch, or way bigger than Twitch, is what streaming truly can become at its precipice. Do you want me to? Can I tell you about that a little bit?
Yeah. Tell me all about it. Yeah.
So, I definitely think it's going to be mainstream. If you look at the way that anime has kind of taken over pop culture, as far as NFL players, rappers, the things that the that preteens and teens do now will become pop culture in about a decade. That's the way that the world works.
When you look at Netflix's trajectory, in 1997, they were a male DVD service, and now they are the biggest broadcaster in the world. And in 1997, Blockbuster laughed at them, and now Blockbuster is nowhere to be found because they knew the industry was going to be changing. And I think you're absolutely right. I do think that live streaming is going to be one of the major sources of entertainment.
Yeah, 100%. And it will. I think that coming down the pipeline of Twitch streamers will be opportunities that right now don't exist. Opportunities like the Netflix section for live streaming, right? You're on Netflix, you're on Hulu, you're on Amazon Prime, you're on Amazon Prime Video, or there will be maybe circulated channels, circulated names,
Syndicated,
brands
yep.
that you can just from your TV screen click, and much like Spotify, how you get cents for every listen. Yeah, you get paid for the amount of streams you get.
Right, the royalties, yeah.
Will carry over that way for streaming. I mean, individuals could have their own apps that you just click. Like, okay, this is Josh Barracks' like stream, bada boop, and then it's up. You can stream that anywhere from your home. I mean, there's just the possibilities are completely endless. And just like Mecca had just said, yeah, I mean, this is the Wild West right now because everyone's just kind of grasping and like they're like, wait, what's going on? Like Herman Miller's doing this, like ESPN. Well, what about like
Sportsnet on my Twitch channel?
Bro, there's some guy got an Adam and Eve sponsorship. Okay, there's a streamer sponsored by Adam and Eve. Okay, so everyone's just kind of figuring this out right now, and what content creators and streamers are capable of. It's just like with Blockbuster laughing at Netflix. Broadcasters, ESPN broadcasters, politicians. People have laughed. And
what AOC did, I think, was so powerful for the constituents because, like her or not, you saw that she grabbed onto a market during a very important time in American politics, and she was on Twitch. And I will never forget that. As a Canadian, I'm not even involved in that. And I was like, this is the coolest thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, it was powerful, to have AOC at any part of Twitch just added so much validity to the impact that a streamer or content creator can have. I mean, there's just I think all of us are kind of in this weird place of like we just want to be prepared, right? Success is preparation meets opportunity, and so with not knowing what the future holds for not only our individual success, but for what broadcasting and streaming truly is. For those that are looking, that can look outside and see outside the box and go, what could happen beyond just go live, lots of subs, lots of bits, thanks for money, bye. What and that's I'm not trying to simplify it in terms of like not trying to take away from how amazing my community or any community is. I love my community, and I think that's the best part of Twitch, like we said at the beginning of this podcast, how powerful it is. But there are things that could happen. There are opportunities that exist for streamers, broadcasters, and it's going to take some creativity and imagination to kind of see that future.
The coolest part of working with creatives is you see the unimaginable.
Yeah, just like you said, where I would not have guessed about commentating 2 years ago. No shot I would have even imagined,
And now look where you are, right?
But exactly, you keep yourself available and prepared and ready, and these opportunities may just happen.
Josh, I think we're going to close it up there and just give our listeners one final word of advice. Maybe it's a resource you're using. I know you have a lot of gadgets on your desk, similar to mine. I've got my Go XLR. I don't use a Stream Deck, but I know there's so many other resources. Maybe Google Calendar, which you and I both loved and talked at length about earlier this week. Yeah. And anything that you use to keep yourself on track as a resource that helps you and your productivity.
I think the Stream Deck is probably my favorite thing. It helps me with my sound commands, helps me with my Spotify, helps me.
And which one do you have? Do you have the 12 or do you have just the 6?
I have the XL, which I think is 12.
That one's huge.
Nice. And I think it's probably I got the big boy. I think it's probably the best thing like that I use, and then I got it's pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean Google Calendar, of course, to like keep track of stuff. But biggest thing is that this isn't like an overnight thing, guys. Okay, I know how defeating that this can be, how streaming, how hard that this is.
I feel like you have to have a little bit of self-loathing to be able to do this.
To start it, absolutely, yeah. You gotta.
Yeah, at least to get started, because you're like, yeah, I deserve 3 viewers.
Yeah, it's just like with like being a comedian or being an actor. It's just like sheesh, you got a big mountain to climb. And Mecca, I don't think I'm like, I'm probably not even halfway there. So like,
Yep.
You just strap yourself in. Okay. It says if you guys are looking for short-term success and cash out, this is not this is not it for you. Okay. This is a long-term thing. It's gonna be a minute. Be patient. Make your friends and your family are the things that are gonna get you through this and keep you going. So believe in yourself. Don't give up. I love you. And Mecca, thank you for having me on.
No worries. Josh, before you go, let's get a quick plug. What is your schedule on Twitch, and where can our viewers find you?
Well, I stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at twitch.tv/Josh Barracks. I am Josh Barracks on all socials. You guys can follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Josh Barracks. And if you want the Discord server, you could find it in my what do you call that thing? The little link tree. Link tree. Yep. I have it.
And I'll have that link below in the description below too.
That's right. I also do Warzone customs Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You guys can come through, hang out, and vibe. I do monthly tournaments where I give.
Can our viewers take part in those too?
They sure can. They're the only people who can. Anybody can come through. This is not like a public lobby. We all just have fun, goof off, use different guns, and vibe out. I give away money every Friday. It's usually 30 to like $70 to just random people. And I do my own tournaments every month, as well as like broadcasting and all that for like other companies. You guys can find all that information on my socials and in Discord.
Amazing. Well, Josh, thank you so much for your time today. And I am so excited that we were able to have you on the show today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It was amazing. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for talking with me. And I can't wait to see the finished project.
Be sure to follow him in the description below. And I will see you guys on the next episode of The Game of Content.